Good morning, all.
Hey,
Happy
everybody.
Sunday.
How are you?
So listen, we have this special episode today because we had some technical issues that we're not too proud of, but we ironed them out. And we have our special guest again, Lovari. We're very excited to have. For those of you who do not know Lovari, he is a Billboard charting musical artist and actor. So we're going to have a very fun interview today. And yeah, how's your weekend going?
Hey, it's been pretty quiet so far.
Yeah.
I actually went for a drive yesterday. That was literally about the extent of my weekend.
I'm at that age, I'm at the crossroads where I want to be, young again, but I've come to the realization that my mind and body can't, compete with one another.
Oh, you mean you're not a spring chicken no more?
No. So yesterday I went to one of those bounce parks. There's, where they have the trampolines and the big foam pits. So I go and do that, and I'm telling you, I can barely walk today. My shoulders hurt, my back hurts, my legs hurt, everything hurts.
My nephew wants me to go. He keeps asking. I'm like, you can go. I'll watch.
Brave. But yeah, so let's just jump into these current events. So this week, apparently Trump's legal team, for his impeachment trial has all backed out 2 weeks before his hearing.
Yeesh.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's looking tough, but apparently all the Republicans, except for 5, are sticking with him. So it's going to be an interesting. He's probably going to get off of this one as well. I'm assuming.
Unlikely.
And he's
probably be in the name of unity or in the name of whatever message they want to put behind it. But it's it's a great way to unify a country by impeaching a person who's already out of office. I'm not saying he shouldn't be punished. He did something wrong.
You gotta
be held accountable.
You gotta understand. You got to understand the reason why, what the impeachment does. See, it's beyond it being like a brand on his name.
It's a political.
It stops him from the chance of running. Now, people are like, oh, he ain't going to run again. He's going to be an old man. Well, people don't know. I mean, Trump was this celebrity figure who became president. So there's a good chance that his family members or people he endorses will rise to the top quickly.
And unfortunately, Trump is also a phenomenon that we're not as familiar with in this country. He is such a polarizing figure that no matter who you are, you hear the name Trump, you're going to have one of two reactions.
I think, though, not to make light of it, I think what he did is going to change things forever.
Yeah. I
think in the future, you're going to have like not average Joes, but you're going to have celebrities step into that position of power. You heard like rumors that of course, Kanye West. I mean, we all see that, what happened there, but you have people like The Rock saying
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. Well, Arnold Schwarzenegger, come on now.
I mean, that was old news, but I mean, he did the same thing. So
not to add I love Arnold Schwarzenegger and his action movies. I grew up idolizing the guy, but let me tell you something. He talks about California, running California like he did like the greatest thing ever. And we were talking about Skid Row in our last episode. Well, that exists under your watch. The highest mess in the country, pretty much. You got pictures when you say welcome to LA, like people taking a dump on the sidewalk. I mean, tragedy.
It's not funny, but it just sounded funny.
No, it's screwed up.
Horrible.
But in lighter news, Texas issues an Amber Alert. Okay, this past Friday for the son of Chucky, Glenn Ray. For those of you who don't know Glenn Ray was issued in the Seed of Chucky movie, and he was last seen apparently with Chucky. Okay, last seen wearing blue jean overalls, a multicolored striped shirt, and wielding a huge knife.
Did they have one of the drunk guys in the office to post something? Because that just seems a little bit weird.
His race is doll, and his height is 3 feet tall. This was actually reported by KPRC TV, and I guess the alert was less, used as a test malfunction. So it got out there. I don't think they intended for it to go out there, but
you sure it wasn't a prank and somebody got fired and then they tried to play it off like,
It was probably them testing out their systems. You know how, like, a lot of companies will use John Doe, and they'll write like John Doe has, green eyes, and he's 7 foot tall. They've tried to probably do that, and it got released out in the public, and people literally saw, Chucky's son on the Amber Alert, and were freaking out. Yeah, I mean, so here we are, guys. We are at the last day of January. We made it here. Okay,
this month is going by like remarkably fast. Like, it seems like just a couple of days ago we were storming. Well, not we. People were storming the Capitol, and now it's almost February.
Yeah, it's almost February, and we're getting into this February thing. I'm a big Valentine's Day person, and you got to be, if you want to keep your significant other happy, you got to be romantic every so often.
You save money.
Well, very, very smart. But at the same time, people are changing it up this year. So they got to get ready. So we're going to go over segments of how we can change it up, okay? So there's a lot of people out there that are like, what can I do different this year for Valentine's Day? Well, if your local grocery store or butcher offers it, this year, people are branding their meat. Well, not their meat.
Out the gutter.
Yeah, not their meat. But like, let's say you get, a nice steak. They'll brand whatever you want on it. So you can have them brand like, I love you, be mine, hugs and kisses.
12-year-old in a freaking garage with a coat hanger heated up over a fire was like, I got an idea.
Listen, this is the year of thinking outside the box, okay? 2020, we were just getting, our bearings straight. And now we're thinking outside the box this year.
2020, we were getting our bearings removed.
Who needs a teddy bear this year? Because now we have the Hug Me Chicken, all right? The Hug Me Chicken is a massive, giant rubber chicken that when you squeeze, it says sayings that you pre-record. So forget about the teddy bear this year. Let's do that. And for those of you who are a little bit more, want to spice things up a little bit, they got suction cup restraints this year that were just released that you can get yourself fresh off of Amazon.
That would suck if they malfunctioned.
Well, yeah. Or, I don't know how sturdy suction cups can be. I mean,
some of them can be pretty sturdy.
I don't know. I've never tried it out. But, and this year, forget about the normal hummus. You guys can get chocolate hummus.
That's actually not bad. I've had that before.
You've had it? It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's actually not bad. It was a little bit like, what am I eating? Oh, okay. Yeah, it tastes good. It literally just tastes like chocolate dip. A little bit grainier.
Oh. Wow. So those, we got to think outside the box this year for Valentine's Day. And really, really, your significant other, you don't want them to like run off now with the mailman or the milk guy. But
that's why they have restraints.
That's why you get your suction cup restraints. So you keep your romance hot. But anyways,
just to stop her from running out of the shower.
So this has been an issue that's been really bothering me. It's a more of a sour topic. Not a sour topic. Nothing's a sour topic here.
Well,
but it's something with fake profiles that's been really bothering me.
If you do this, you're a scumbag.
Oh yeah. I mean, the thing is with fake profiles, I've been seeing more prevalent than ever is people fishing for information, harassment, trolling, you name it.
Well,
fake profiles,
facial recognition software now that can make you look like someone else and use clips of their voice to mimic them talking.
Yeah, I mean, I have not personal experience making fake profiles, but being basically a target of people with fake profiles. Just this week alone, I received a very bizarre message from someone who I had an account with a friend, and apparently somebody sent me the same account. I guess they duplicated their picture. So I'm like, oh, this person's re-adding me as a friend request. So I go And I add them. I mean, this person I've known for years. Why wouldn't I want to add them again as a friend? So, of course, I add them. And within minutes, they're like, hey, how are you? And I'm like, I'm good. You know, I haven't talked to this person. So maybe they want to talk to me now and re-add me. It's like, hey, what's up? And then they say something really freaking bizarre to me. So I'm like, what's going on? And it's just, and then they start sending me like really crazy pictures from somebody and basically tell me right off the jump, pay up, tell your friend to pay up, or this will never stop. So basically this person is blackmailing a friend of mine. You know, apparently somebody had explicit pictures of them and they were going to post them on social media accounts. And when I reached out to the person, apparently this scumbag who created duplicated accounts was sending these off the wall pictures to family members, friends. You know, grandma was getting a picture of, you know, somebody's privates. What kind of piece of garbage are you to do something like that?
I've only been the victim of like one real like fake profile thing like that, where I actually did get hacked. It was probably about like 8 or 9 years ago. I was at Gold's Gym. I went there really early in the morning with my sister. I think it was like, I decided to be brave and join her at like 4:30 in the morning because I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And by the time I left, you know, I turned my phone off or I had it in the locker. And when I left, my phone just like lit up like a Christmas tree. Ding, 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 ding. And like, or a casino machine, I should say. Someone had posted a picture of a spread eagle chick right on my page that is shared with family, business contacts, friends, church contacts, people who work in local government contacts, everybody. And my message box exploded. And I had to go back and be like, yo, that was not me. I apologize so much for anybody who was offended. But it was just like, I got out of the gym and was like, what the hell just happened?
It's really tragic because incidents like that could ruin someone's reputation. It could get them fired. And like I said, like someone will go and they'll copy and paste your picture from your Facebook or Instagram and a bunch of your pictures, and they'll add a bunch of your friends from your friends list. That's why the reason for this conversation is be wary of who you add. Don't add everybody, because back in the day, I'm a filmmaker, I'm an artist, so I wanted to add as many people as possible. Like if I met you once, I'm adding you. I don't do that anymore because what you end up getting is spam in your inbox, and now this is a giant risk. I mean, you got people that will duplicate your stuff, and there's people that have done it to me, not necessarily done that to me, but I've received fake messages even on my email. My business partner, Anthony, and I will like go in our email and I'll see like some guy will write me something like, rumor has it that Charles is a racist and a homophobe, and we'd like to get to the bottom of this. And I'm like, do you know who like my best friends are? Do you know me? Like, but it's somebody who's trying to get a reaction. They're trying to get a reaction. Yeah. So that I say something like, you know, curse them out, or, you know, so that they can copy and paste a message somewhere. And the point of the matter is, be careful. Put your privacy settings on your accounts, you know, so that people don't see your whole friends list, so they can't do something like that. And yeah, be mindful of who you add. If I get a friend request, I'm not the type of person to automatically delete it. I'll message them like, hey, you know, refresh my memory. Who are you? Like, just like that. Who are you? You know, because I add a vast majority of people. I do. But if I have no idea who you are and we have no mutual friends, and like you're from a state I've never been, chances are you don't belong on my friends list.
Yeah, or if you live in the Philippines and we have one mutual contact.
Or if you you look like a model or a stripper of some sort, and you send me a message saying, find me on wherever, like, for more pictures. I'm like, girl, you added me. I don't want your pictures.
Sites than I do on my Facebook profile, but yeah, it's definitely a thing.
Yeah. So Be wary, people. Be wary. So now, without any further ado, we don't want to like waste too much time. People are waiting for this guy, okay? Lovari, Billboard charting musical artist, okay? Actor. He's got a lot to say. He's very fun to talk to. Energetic. You guys ready? We're going to add him too. Welcome.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. Honored to be here. Thank you, guys.
Second time's a charm.
Second time's a charm. Wearing the same lucky hat.
Awesome. So what is new and exciting for you during this pandemic?
Well, I got to tell you, speaking of Valentine's Day, February 14th marks the year that my album, Moment of Love, was released. So obviously, with the pandemic, we had to do it differently this time. I only got to do one actual live performance to promote it, which was at New York Fashion Week. So, not too bad, but
Right.
shelf life of albums that came out during the pandemic were like usually 3 months max, and I tried to stretch it out to 6 months. So I did something that I never did before. I released a music video every 4 weeks. So every month I released a music video. Whereas my past albums, I would, like maybe every 3 months, or even every 4 months release a new music video and try to stretch the album out to like a year and a half. You know what I'm
I've
saying?
seen a lot of artists doing similar stuff to that. It seems to be a pretty effective strategy, given the fact that everybody's kind of isolated.
Exactly. And it's a blessing and a curse because, it's great because now you can release all this product at once, you know what I'm saying? And have sort of like a art form, like, exhibit wise, right? A visual exhibit, which actually I was part of. Newark Arts had their annual event. And this year they had my music videos as virtual exhibits. So that was really cool. So I had enough content for that. But at the same time, because everybody is home, you know what I mean? It's like an oversaturation of products.
Yeah.
So, catch 22, blessing and a curse.
Does anybody else get disturbed when you look down at your phones when it sends you that lovely little report of how much screen time you've had in a day?
I don't do that.
No. I'm afraid to.
I didn't even know they did it. I just got an alert the other day, and I was like, that's
Wow.
depressing.
On your phone. So how are you keeping yourself motivated and productive during this pandemic?
I read a lot of books that I had said that I wanted to read. I watched a lot of films that I said I had meant to watch. So that's how it happened. I basically locked myself down for 2 months in I'm back in New Jersey now, but I was living in Philadelphia briefly. So I locked myself down for literally 2 months, 60 days in Philadelphia by myself. I was only going out once a week for food because that was during the end of March to the end of May. So like when it was
and
at
that
the
was
height.
when it was still like extreme. Like it's scary now, but then it was like
Right.
What the hell is fun?
Exactly. Back then we didn't know. Exactly. So I was like mad scared. I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm just gonna stay in my crib, not have nobody over, just go get stuff to eat. So during those 2 months, I just read a lot and watched a lot of, like I said, films that I hadn't watched before. So it went by pretty fast for me because I was just like reading and like watching films. And obviously I didn't have to worry about the time, which I know a lot of people are like, there was no concept of time. Like it could have been 3 in the morning.
It's gone.
Exactly.
You know what though? As an artist, I really feel like it's important. Like for me, like it's important to study other films. It's important to like study. Like if I was a musician, which I've made music, but I don't consider myself to like listen to more music. So during that time, like really helps you like, wow, that worked, or I like that sound. I want to kind of replicate this feeling. So I did a lot of that as well. I found myself like last night. I actually watched. I heard a lot of good things about it. What was it called? The Little Things with Denzel Washington. It was released in theaters and HBO Max. So I watched that because apparently, they had 3 Oscar winners. They had Rami Malek, Denzel Washington, and Jared Leto in one movie together. Wow. And the chemistry alone was like, wow, this is pretty good. I mean, it wasn't the greatest movie ever, but just the performances, I could have appreciated. So just to add to that, I guess.
Yeah.
So you have a unique sound aesthetic to your music, your voice.
Thank you.
Who do you believe that your music is genuinely geared toward? Like your audience?
And what inspires it?
You know what's funny? I don't know what my audience varies. My music is definitely, my musical influences are all 80s, early 90s. So my sound is definitely 80s, 90s sound. It definitely is not a modern sound, as you know. From listening,
So
I mean,
people who haven't heard it, is it techno or is it?
No.
Okay.
No, when I listen to your music, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I get a feel of like kind of like when you're saying 80s, 90s, I get like a Sade type feel to it. Just the lyrical content behind it, the emotions. It's a lot of like relatable stuff in the music videos. The music videos are a whole other subject I would like to get into, but yeah, but the sound too. Like anyone can relate to the lyrical content in your music.
Yes. So aside the Moment of Love album was, as you know, was an album of remakes, but the previous albums were all original material. And yes, I do write my own lyrics. Mm-hmm. So I can't sing about something I have not experienced. That's my number one rule as a songwriter. So I don't drive. Thank you. So I don't drive, right? So I'm not gonna have a song. Oh, I'm driving downtown because I don't drive. You know what I mean? So. Absolutely has to do with my own personal experience, and my lyrics are actually really, really deep, and like that's how I know, because like I keep my social media, I choose to just speak about my music and my art. People can do it for whatever they want. To be real with you guys, if I wasn't doing music, if I wasn't doing film, I wouldn't have social media. I wouldn't have social media. There's so many gripes about it, but you know, that's the way of the world, right? Yeah, our products are spoken about through social media. But anyhow, so sometimes when people will ask me questions, I said, if you want to get to know me, like seriously, listen to my lyrics, you know, because they're really, really, really personal, you know, really personal. And then I do have some songs that, like you were saying, Charles, that talks about like motivating other people. Like my first Billboard single, No Day Like Today, which says like, wherever life may take us, we know the world won't break us. I'm tired of setting people up to fail. Instead of knocking them down, we should put winds in their sails. So yeah, lyrics are of the utmost importance to me. And even the songs on Moment of Love, which were remakes, except for No Day Like Today, that was an original. All of the songs had to speak to me. They had to be what I've been through, even though I didn't write those particular songs on that album. Mm-hmm. But it's funny you mentioned Sade. Somebody else had said Sade recently. But my major influences are Annie Lennox.
I love her.
Eurythmics, Sophie B. Hawkins, LaBouche, Bon Jovi, a lot of 80s, 90s influence. Sarah McLachlan. Yeah.
Wow. The Eurythmics. I you know, now I'm feeling it. Definitely.
I remember the name. I can't picture
who Your sweet dreams are made of these.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But they're known for so many other songs too. But that was just like a mega.
Exactly.
Mega hit.
It's funny because their songs, their album cuts are the ones that I'm more influenced by, as opposed to their singles. So I'm glad you said that. Yeah,
they're very diverse. So like, we're gonna go right into that now. You know, Lovari. You know, do you believe that you would have been appreciated in earlier times, or is this now your time to shine?
I don't know. I think that earlier time, you mean like
when you're talking about the Eurythmics, when you let's say like you were to exist in the 80s, the 90s, do you think your sound, you know, because you do it is similar, but do you think that it would have been more like popping then, or do you think now?
No, then
you think then. So you think you're like basically, you know, reprising the sound of a different time, that you're bringing it to a new age.
Well, they bought back Mom Jeans, so why not?
I don't want to compare his music to Mom Jeans.
I'm not either, but I'm just saying it's a good time period. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, no, I see it though. A lot of like, you know, I don't want to say trends, but like music, influences do come back, and trends do come back. But there's something new about his music that it doesn't feel familiar. It has a familiarity, but it you know what I mean? It's new, it's fresh, it's refreshing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
It's quite good.
Thank
So,
you.
This is a deep who is Lovari and what does he stand for?
Lovari presently, or just me and like what, like a background history of me, or just presently?
Who are you? Like if you were to define yourself, like it doesn't have to be your bio, but like who is Lovari?
Lovari is currently very I'm re-examining myself quite frankly presently I'm re-examining myself, and it's not because of the pandemic, because during the pandemic, like I said, I was more educating myself, with more reading and film. Right now I'm just examining myself, because there's a lot of things personally where I'm just like examining the way people treat me, the way I've treated others. So right now Lovari is very emotionally complex.
I feel like that's an honest answer. I think a lot of people need to do that self-reflection, because
when do the same thing myself.
Yeah, when you're building, you can only build yourself so high, but you always have to look back at yourself to see like how you've affected other people, and the good and the bad.
Yeah, you know what it is? I'll be completely honest with you guys. Like I feel like I'm not being respected. Now I'm not talking about professionally. Personally, I feel like I'm not being respected. I feel like I was giving time, and this is in general. I'm not just talking about relationship. I'm talking about in general. I feel that at times I had to, because I'm humble, and I can say this. People have said this about me, but I can say this about myself. But that being said, I don't care if somebody was on Billboard and somebody wasn't, because I see so many talented people with amazing voices. You know what I'm saying? They don't even have videos on YouTube or whatever. So like, but I'll reach out to some people sometimes, right? And I'll congratulate them or whatever. And, they might have like 52 followers, and a lot of times they'll like act like I should be grateful that I'm reaching out to them, and it's ridiculous, because a lot lately, I don't know what it is, but like the past month, that's been happening a lot to me. Like I'll reach out. I do reach out to people in general, but I'll reach out, and then there's some people that are like, oh yeah, if you want to be, this is how much I charge. I'm like, yo, what the F? You know what I mean? And it's strange, because usually it'll be like people in the industry or celebrities or whatever. They'll be the ones that it takes time to establish friendships with. And to me, it's always been the opposite. When I first started out, I was I don't know why, but I was honored to have some celebrity followers and celebrity supporters. It's just weird, because like I said, you think it would be the opposite way. You think that people on the same level as me, or people on the come up, you would have friendship. But it seems that I'm getting more support from celebrities or people already established than other people. It's just strange. So I kind of had to do a thing. Like I put on my IG guide, because I don't do these, how do you say it? When people and I don't want to knock nobody, because whatever, each his own. Because I gotta work on that too. Because like I'll look at social media and something will irk me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like somebody writes, "Oh, still single,"
that's what it's designed to do. Unfortunately,
I don't want to hear what happened.
I said that's unfortunately what it's designed to do, is to piss you off.
Yeah, exactly. So like, but then I'm like, yo, just because I'm pissed off, that too bad. It's not about me, it's about them. I can't tell them. But anyway, that being said, I don't post those things. I choose not to post those things. But I felt so disrespected in the past few weeks by, like I said, people on the come up, that I was like, you know what? Let me remind these people what I've done. So that's why this past week I've been reposting, like, me at the Grammys, my Billboard stuff, my video on MTV, because like I said, like some people are acting like I should be honored to be talking to them when I reached out, like trying to show love to the person on the come up, so that's where I'm at right now.
That's it. You know what it is? It's really interesting that you said that, because I've been saying this for years, that I've held events and stuff like that where I've met with celebrities, and I've been to a lot of festivals, and like a lot of the celebrities are supportive. And people on my level or below, I feel like it's an ego thing, and they don't want to see someone on their own stage doing better. And a lot of times they're like, you know what, like, I'll post an award up or something that he got from a festival, and they'll be like, oh, that's a no-name, festival. Who gives a shit? That's nothing. That's not a big achievement. Or, and these are people with no accolades whatsoever. And like, I'll post up like looking for, I'll look for, because I hire a lot of people as far as editors and sound and whatever. So I'll post ads and stuff, and people will like give me these celebrity rates when they have zero experience or zero like reel to show
menu on your zero budget film.
And and they'll be asking for like, I need 20,000 for this or 10,000 for that. And it's like, dude, you should be doing this for free to get your foot in the door.
Exactly.
But at the same time, I understand people need to make a living, but I definitely, for years, I've been saying that, like, man, people like their egos, their nose are so high up in the air, and they don't realize that we could actually help each other out. I feel like artists, if we all want to rise together, people need to support each other because
business, because like that's another thing, like going on what you're saying. I just ran into this on a personal and business level with somebody who I was kind of friends with that I ended up ending it. Like, I'm not gonna continue with that partnership, but it just I honestly think that when I started to learn really, really fast, because when I get interested in something, I will pick it up quickly and like remarkably fast. But if I'm not interested, I'm like, might as well try to teach a brick because it ain't going in. And I think the fact that I basically caught up to where he was after 2 years of studying in a couple of months, I think that really irked him. And it became like personal. And then so I was like, you know what? No, we don't need this.
It's not a competition. No, it's really not a competition. We're not competing. We can work together. And you know what? You stay in your lane, I stay in my lane, but we could still support each other. But I definitely can relate.
Yeah, I'm happy that you guys can relate, but I'm sorry that you got to go through the same thing. You know what I mean?
But I feel like anybody in this field, anyone in the artistic field, it's something about artists that they feel like sour about the next one.
Yeah,
I've never understood that because I've always been like, yo, if you have any questions, if you want to learn anything, give me a call. Here's my card. Please call me. And no one ever does.
Yeah.
I had one person take me up on the offer, and I'm like, I've been doing this for 15 years, man. Like, if you have a question, I can help you.
Right. Yeah. There were people that because I occasionally interview for a magazine, Get Out magazine in New York City. So there have been people on the come up that I interviewed that I was so happy to see, like Laverne Cox, for example. So I interviewed Laverne Cox about 7-8 years ago, and now I see her getting, like nominated for all these Emmys. And I'm always like, oh, this is awesome, this, that. And that's what I'm saying. Like, so I'm glad. Lola Lennox, Annie Lennox's daughter. I just interviewed her recently, and Annie Lennox, like I said, is my favorite singer of all time, but Lola is a great artist, and her song just went #1 in the UK. So like, I'm honored, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, I'm friends with these people, the Real Housewives of New Jersey, my video and all that, Adam Barta, and like I said, they're all showing me love. And then I got people that I'll hit up that, like I said, they'll have like 112 views. And again, I'm always saying this. I'm not knocking 112 views. You know what I mean? I'm saying this to compare. And like 112 views, and I hit one up just last week. Not even last week. The night of our first, when we were supposed to interview first. And because they had great visuals, I'm like, oh, that's really dope. I'll be in that area if you want to collabo. And the person writes back, well, I looked at your stuff. I do hip hop. So I'm not sure how we're going to collaborate. I didn't even answer.
Yeah.
I wanted to say that's why you only have 112 views and your video's been out for a month. But
what's funny? And this is not just for hip hop people or people in like their genre, just strictly genre based. How many of us listen to all types of music nowadays? Absolutely. Like, I feel like it's so old school to be like, I just listened to this. Like,
it's very old school. It's very old school. And
I used to get made fun of, like, I used to do door-to-door sales, and like sometimes we would like carpool to whatever location we were going to. We're selling Verizon, doing like TV service, and I remember there were times where I was like, I don't care. I'm listening to Louis Armstrong today. I'm listening to this. People are like, what are you, like 80? I'm like, no, it's good music. Shut up.
Yeah. I do the same thing. I listen at, like during the pandemic, I was listening to songs from the 1930s, and I was listening to best of classical, and then I was listening to my early house music, and the same with film. So I love, you know, films from the 40s and 50s from that period, and then I love 80s schlocky horror movies. Those are my two, you know, they're two extreme genres, but I love them. Like I go from watching Katharine Hepburn and Humphrey Bogart and Mae West and Zsa Zsa Gabor to watching Freddy Krueger, and I love them both as equally. You know what I'm saying? Like, why limit yourself? It's entertainment.
It just feels out, you know, what you're feeling at the time. Like to me, it's what I'm feeling in the moment. It's like what type of music I want to listen to, what kind of movies I want to watch. I really don't have a preference as long as it's done well.
And
it
me,
sounds
I'm
good.
even weirder because like I love music. I'm very passionate about it. I don't listen to a lot of it on a regular basis. I listen to it when I'm in the mood to listen to it because music, for me personally, has a huge impact on my emotions. So, and it can be the same song and have a different impact depending on what my mood is on that day. And so, like, I'm not going to put myself in a situation where I'm going to listen to a song that could potentially make me feel happy or make me want to be like, why am I going to do that?
Sometimes you need that emotional purge. There's times like
sometimes, but
there's times I listen to like you ever listen to NF? Why did you leave? Why did you leave us? I believe the song is called. It's like a really sad song that he talks about his mother going through addiction and dying. And like basically she put more focus on her drugs than she did him. But I'll rewatch that video like to get into that mindset. It will help me get creative actually, like to what type of, you know, content I want to write or whatnot. So like sometimes you need that emotional purge.
I like depressing songs a lot, even when I'm not depressed.
It's like you're the happiest guy ever. And you just put on something to make you like sit there in a corner like.
I'm weird. I like listening to people talk. I like listening to like TED Talks and tutorials. Like I'll literally sit there and listen to like 3 hours straight of tutorials on different subjects that I'm like, well, that looks interesting.
Well, let's hope people like to listen to people talking because then they'll watch our show. So what do you find do you find yourself overly critical to your own music, performances, lyrics, or whatnot?
I find myself overly critical to my videos sometimes. Not my music and because I am very hands-on in the studio. So I'll talk about levels and like vocal levels and all and everything of that nature. So I don't put it out until I'm good with it. You know what I'm saying? The videos are where I'll get critical of myself because I'll say and actually it's. And this is how I know it's not my imagination because then when people meet me in person, they're like, "Oh, you look better in person than in some of your videos." You know what I'm saying? So, videos, I'm critical of myself more. Not the content. I love the creative content of all the videos. I'm just talking about looks wise. I'm like,
don't you love it though when people make statements like that, where they're like, "You look better in person than you did." I'm like, thanks for that. It's double cloaked insult.
I'll tell you, you know, Stefan, this between Lovari and I. We do a lot of stuff in front of the camera. So like you're lucky because when you get in front of the camera, whether it's a music video or a movie or a role, you don't know how many times I've seen people at mixers and events who are like, wow, you're handsome.
I've literally when I moved to Germany as an exchange student, the second portion of it I had to move to Munich. And apparently they had run out of people who are willing to take exchange students. And so they begged this old grumpy ass of a woman. And she made me take a train from the western border of Germany all the way down to Munich, to this little village outside of Munich, actually, to meet her. And she goes, "Oh, you're not as creepy looking in person." Like, what?
I don't know. With me, it's always something with weight. Because on camera, I plump up. Maybe it's my skin tone, whatever. But on camera,
like me.
No, but people are like, "Wow, I didn't expect. I expected you to have these like big muffin tops, and But I have it a lot of times. A lot of times I rub it off, but it does bother me in a way. But
everybody thinks I'm a little boy.
You have to. You can't be too critical, I guess.
The number one thing with me, every time, mad times. Oh, you're shorter. Every time. That happens to me every time because I'm only 5'7". I'm 5'7", and I can't tell you, it's happened to me more than 20 times where people meet me and it's like, you're short or you're shorter. That's the number one.
That's a good thing though. Like on screen, you could be whoever you want to be. That's the greatest part about entertainment, though.
Exactly.
So, how important is it for you to manifest your dreams?
I gotta tell you guys, man. Let me tell y'all. I was doing that before I knew what it was. Okay, so like when I was a child, I was just manifesting, like imagining my number one goal in life. And this, people are gonna get bored. Whoever supports me, I'm grateful. Whoever's watching and supporting us, I'm grateful. So they're gonna get bored because I always say this, but it's the truth. My number one goal in life, number one of anything, was to get on the Billboard charts. I'm talking about like when I was 11 years old, I would follow the Billboard charts. That was my thing. Like some people are gamers, or some people are into sports or whatever. My hobby was following the Billboard charts and seeing what songs were charting, climbing, etc. So that was my number one goal in life. So when I was a kid, I would just imagine myself on the charts, and I would even imagine like the year to be on the charts and seeing the position of it climbing in my head. Like I would literally do these things in my head. And then it finally happened. And the same thing with movies, specifically horror films. I was looking through, I'm actually visiting my family in Queens right now. That's where I'm at, in Queens right now. I live in Jersey. And I found a marble notebook of a diary of sorts that I had kept. And it said, in the thing, it said, talking about music and all that. And then it said, oh, I can't wait to get on the Billboard charts. And then it also said, oh, I went to a horror convention because my favorite horror actress is Linnea Quigley from Return of the Living Dead, and my dad took me today, and I want to make a movie with her one day. It would be so cool to hang out with her, but she signed my poster, but I want to do it. And now we've done 2 films together that are coming out. And wow. So see what I'm saying? Like I've been manifesting before I knew what it was, and the most recent one I have to say was I was in Atlantic City, and I was doing an event with Celebrity Boxing, and I'll be doing another one June 12th at Showboat, and not boxing, singing. And so I was driving. I wasn't driving, I can't drive. I was saying I was driving with a friend of mine, and we're going by places. I was like, I know the area is not the best, I said, but a lot of these, there's a lot of buildings here. I was like, I wonder how much they are. It's not the best area. And I was like, yeah, but I'm not saying I could afford it, but I wonder what the prices are. And he said, no, you probably could afford it. And he didn't know how much I made, how little I made, how much I made, whatever. And I said, well, it ain't gonna hurt to look it up. It's not gonna hurt to examine and look it up. And I always loved lighthouses, and I love the beach, and those are my comfort zones. In Jersey City, there's even it's a lighthouse replica, but it's a lighthouse. It's a non-operational one though, near the Newport Mall. And I used to go there just for solace, just to chill. You know what I mean? And I liked it. I liked looking at it and sitting there.
Out there.
Yeah, it's not an operational one. It's as a matter of fact, it's on land. It's right near Newport Mall, Pavonia, Newport, that area. And there's a lighthouse, and it faces the Hudson River. But so I used to go there and chill, and I was like, oh, I love lighthouses, and I try to go see them as often as I can. So anyhow, there was a lighthouse in Atlantic City, and it's the 3rd largest lighthouse in the country, Absecon Lighthouse. So we're walking about lighthouse and said, that would be amazing to live right there, right near a lighthouse. You got the beach here. I was like, don't think I could afford that. And that's when the guy was like, well, their rates are comparable around here because it's not the best area. So lo and behold, guess where I'm moving?
Wow. You're moving over there.
I found a place there, and guess what? Guess what my view faces? The lighthouse.
Wow. See, that's cool. That's pretty awesome.
And I just was like, I was like, well, imagine it, and it happened, and the price, that I was like, wow, so it's manifesting definitely works. Prayer, but see, to me, prayer and manifestation is the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's extremely important in my life. It's
I think
been
it
there
works
all
both
my life.
ways too. Like if you focus constantly on stuff that's not good, and you can tend to bring a lot more of that into your life just by focusing on it.
Which might be happening while I was disrespected for 2 weeks. See? Because I was pissed off about it. You're right. You're right, Stefan. That could have been the reason, right?
I run into that a lot where I'm like, cheer up.
See, for me, like when I don't know what it is with me, with I don't know my persona. People assume that I'm, I guess, more established, bigger than I actually am. So like when I go to events and I get like, because I'm always looking for the next venue or the next place to hold a big event, and like when these people give me rates, they give me rates as if I've already made it in life. I'm like, I'll have to talk to my team about that. I'll get back to you. They're hitting you with that because I'm right now, like with the Catskill International Film Festival, I'm looking into the future. I know there's going to be another virtual event, but I'd love to do something that's COVID friendly, that's in person. So right now I'm in talks with like other venues, and some of these people are like giving me like celebrity rates, and I'm like,
and you think there would be more compensation because of the pandemic?
Like,
talk about that though.
well, people, business owners want to make back their losses, but they think they're slick by like telling me like, oh yeah, last year around this time I made blank amount of dollars, when clearly they did not.
Right.
So like right now is the time, I guess, to do your research before reaching out. But that is awesome. Definitely.
Speaking of Catskill Film Festival, I was so happy. First of all, I was happy to even be screened. So I was so happy about that. And then when I won for Best Music Video this year, that was amazing.
Yeah,
I'm so happy, and I love the award, and I'm just so grateful.
Our entire committee was so excited about your film. They just said it was like the main thing. Like when every film that goes through, we watch, and there's like a score sheet, and beyond the score sheet, there's like one word that comes to mind.
Okay.
One memorable experience. So a lot of people were like putting like refreshing, and that was a big word. It was just refreshing,
wow.
fun. And during this pandemic, that's what we needed. We needed something fun, refreshing. It was trippy.
Yes,
I really liked it.
It was trippy. I know people say it's a trippy video, and I'm like, yeah. And ironically, I don't even smoke pot, so that's great.
I don't either, and I felt like I was high.
I played
so it definitely works. It definitely worked. We really enjoyed it. The only thing I was disappointed about was the experience for the filmmakers, because I'm the type of guy who, if you would have met me a few years ago prior to the pandemic, I would have never ever agree to do a virtual event, because I'm the type of person where I want to meet the filmmaker. Oh, sure. I want to have them in the audience with, I want to have them sitting in an audience filled with spectators watching their project, so that they have those memorable moments after the fact, to have those interesting conversations, and like people like asking you what you were thinking about, and like having the Q&A session in person. So it was difficult for me to watch like all these great films and be like, man, because for me, I submitted to online festivals and I have my projects accepted, but at the same time, going in person just is a totally different breed, and it's I just really wanted that for the filmmakers.
But I had to say though that it was very professionally outlined. The presentation was amazing. Your cards in between about the nominees and all that was very professional. So I mean, it was a great execution. It was probably one of the best executions I've seen so far during this pandemic. So I hope that you are commended.
That's cool, man.
Thank you, because it really messed. I didn't know where it was going to go when we did it. I didn't know how it was going to be accepted, because people like, they know me for holding, like, I'm the type of person, if I do an in-person event, I'm a filmmaker, but a lot of people that hold these events are not. Their business mindset. So they're looking to stuff as many films as possible, so there's no gaps, nothing, so that literally they can get as many people in seats as possible. And I'm the type of person that I'd rather have each filmmaker accepted to feel uplifted, to feel like they're having the time of their life, having parties each night, and having music, live music
for something that you made.
Exactly,
Right.
but it's more than like people don't realize that film in general is a collective art form. No film is like, rare films are made without music, but I mean, there's music, coloring, art, design. There's so much
Editing.
editing. It's all art, all these
Mhm.
separate art forms that come together to make a project happen. And that's just going to lead us right to the next question. What do you find more challenging? Singing in front of a live audience or acting in a film?
What do I find more challenging? Singing in front of a live audience or acting in a film?
For me, it's easy. It's singing because I can't sing.
For me, it's acting. For me, it's acting in a film because live audience is very organic, so you can feed off energy. Yeah, there's some numbers where if my dance team's with me, there's a specific choreography, but motive wise, you can look. You can ad lib, you can laugh during the singing thing, you can converse with people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which I do. I love doing. I'm a conversationalist. So, I'll be singing or about to sing, and I'll be like, yo, I like that shirt. Yo, I'm just like that. You know what I'm saying? So like, whereas acting, if they have lines, that's a specific line. It's the specific emotion. You know what I mean? Some directors will make you work with the character, but at the end of the day, you do have to deliver the line almost verbatim or close enough to it. So definitely acting, but it's a labor of love, and just said it. I think it also depends on the director that you're working with for sure, and your partner in the scene.
Yeah, chemistry.
When I first started out, I'm like a lot of people doing extra work. When I first started out, there were some experiences where the directors were really mean, but luckily as progression happens. Did you say you were mean?
I said not me.
Oh,
I'm always professional. I never have a hot head.
Oh,
right, Stefan?
What?
No, I'm not mean, but I'll let you finish what you got to say before I jump in and explain myself.
I had two people that were mean. I had two directors that were mean. Were mean to me, and it was like I said, it was extra work at the time, but it was like featured extra, whatever you want to say. So like one was Sidney Pollack. It was a film called The Interpreter, which is my first period, whatever you want to say, acting, whatever. And I had a bomb, like, and it's not a spoiler because the particular scene didn't make the cut, but the action was on me because I had a bomb in my cart and I had to pour coffee and act like I was putting a bomb underneath the cart. And it was my first day on set, my first anything. I didn't even know what a waiver was. They said, "Oh, you're getting a waiver. We're going to upgrade you this." And I had no idea. And he was like, "Okay, pour the coffee." And I'm pouring. He's like, "No, you have to pour it this way." Like he was freaking out. And I was like, "I'm sorry," but whatever. And then my second thing, I played one of Angelina Jolie's brothers in the film Salt, and I never held a machine gun before, and I had a whole one to the back of her head. And the director was like, "You never?" I was like, "No, I've never held a machine gun. Sorry." And like the whole set was laughing. But those are my only unpleasant experiences. Everything else, when I started getting speaking roles and like supporting roles, it was wonderful. Like all the projects I worked on. In 2019, I worked on the horror film The Barn Part 2, which was with Linnea Quigley and Ari Lehman, who plays Jason in Friday the 13th. So I had a supporting role in that. That was amazing. Director Justin Seaman, that was great. Loved it. And it takes place in the early 90s. So there you go again with the 80s, 90s thing. That experience was great. But definitely, definitely challenging. What's that?
I said that's when we all grew up.
Yeah.
So I don't want to explain myself, but for me as a director, one of the things is that I get really ticked off about is when people they sign up and they agree to stuff that they're not willing to accomplish or do. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of pre-production in an independent film, especially when it's limited money. So time is money and time is valuable. A lot of us work full-time other jobs. So when we're doing this film, this is what we want to do. And this is what we're, driving force towards. But a lot of the other people, they don't, I guess, have the same goal as you. Mm-hmm. And, they just want to be a part of it without, I guess, doing the homework or reading what they're signing or for example,
fulfilling their obligations.
I've had actors and I love all the actors I've worked with, and any person that has a gripe with me, we've squashed it because I could be a dickhead sometimes. But at the same time, some of the actors have signed on to projects because they want like supporting or lead roles, and then they didn't read the script first. They skimmed or whatever, and then when you get to set, they're like, I'm not doing that. Just letting you know.
That's
I'm
funny.
like,
and I'm like, you said that because before I did the Barn Part 2, I asked for he sent me my lines, and I said, may I please see the scripts? And he was like, well, you know, those are your scenes, so he sent me my pages. But I said, oh no, I just want to see because I want to know what's going on, what's going to be required, you know. And there ended up being some physical things, which I was fine with doing, but that's the reason, because there was a time where I was on a project and they didn't give me the and listen, as a director, I understand you're not obligated to give somebody the full script if they're not in all the scenes. I totally understand that. But there were physical scenes in one film where I had to climb on top of a ladder on a beach, and I'm clumsy, man. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't give me. They had only given me the dialogue. You understand? So when I got on set, I was like, I'm not trying to sound funny. You guys got to get a stunt double for this scene. It was like Pebbles on the beach with a ladder. I said, I told you to give me all of my, not just my dialogue, you know what I mean? Like my action. But yeah, I totally.
We need you to jump out of a helicopter without a parachute.
Exactly.
No, like,
well, what about if they said you got to drive? Like that one I do say. I say if there's any scenes in cars, you have to let me know because I do not drive. I don't know how to drive.
And then you have a lunatic like me who hops in a pickup truck and gets chased by motorcycles.
Nice.
You know what though? Like for me, I would never give someone like I do give sectionalized scripts as well. And I don't do it for any other reason but the fact of I want the actor to study what their piece is. I don't want them to like have to worry about all this extra stuff. Because a lot of times they don't have the time to read the whole script. So they're looking for their scenes. So I want you to really focus on your parts, but at the same time, I give them everything that's going on in the scene so they kind of know. And I also give like a description of like what the character's about and, you know, because like I said, some of the stuff is questionable, but it's the most annoying thing when you're on set and like, I had this really diva actress. I'm going to go back a few years, but I was filming a scene in the movie Savior I did, which won Best Picture at a few festivals. It was really good. I liked it. It was very nice. But this actress, she was a diva. Anyways, apparently she was associated with like Damon Dash or something and whatever. I don't know what she was to him. But she came on set and she applied to basically be an escort in the film. You know, so her reel that she sent us and her audition tape, she dressed as an escort. She was really seductive. Right. You know, she was supposed to be like an escort that was supplying the main character with drugs and everything. And she was only in like 2 scenes of the film. And she was relevant in the script because things were going to change. Like she basically gets the main character caught up. But she came to set and she's like wearing an overcoat. And I'm like, it's a scene by a pool. Like she's wearing like she's wearing a Dick Tracy overcoat with sexy heels, whatever, but she's sitting near the pool. And we're going through the scene and we're practicing. So I'm not saying nothing to her because maybe she's uncomfortable. She doesn't want to be sitting there in her seductive bikini in front of everybody. So I'm letting them run the scene, you know, on like beside the pool like that. And then we say action, and she starts, you know, she's just going wearing the Dick Tracy jacket. So I'm like, I said cut. I'm like, you gotta remove the jacket. That's not gonna work. You know. She goes, yeah, I decided I'm not doing that.
I decided.
And remember, now this was a day that we had booked an entire we had free roam of this whole hotel. So we were using this big pool no one else could use. We had all these people getting paid by the hour there. And this actress was, you know, staying in a hotel room there. And she decided, I'm not going to do that today. So I'm like, okay. And I don't want to lose my cool, you know. I don't want to get anybody saying that I'm some sort of monger on set. So I'm like, well, let's just see how it works. Okay. I literally like, let's just see how it works. Then in the scene, she's supposed to kiss the guy. I didn't read anything about that. We're not doing that. So like, I literally like, I had a moment.
An escort does.
Well, I wasn't asking her to like
someone?
have sex with him or anything like, I was like, kiss him. Like, I was like, you're supposed to kiss him with this line delivered. And, it's a little awkward because the Dick Tracy jacket really isn't feeling like you're near a pool. It just didn't work. The point of the matter is she agreed to something that she didn't, she signed up for something she didn't totally agree with. And she was playing games. And then she made a big thing that I was like exploiting her body and all this, like talking to all the other like makeup artists and stuff on set. Like this director is, a chauvinist and all this. I'm like, no, it's you're annoying me because you're changing the image of the film to your liking.
Right.
Just know what you sign up for, people. Just know what you sign up for.
And remember, you're not the director.
Well, like I did a film called, it's coming out this year. It's called Zombie Games. And I knew it was going to be, I have a supporting role in it, but I knew that it was going to require a lot of action. Zombie Games, hello. So I actually they did send me the entire script of it. And, I knew it was going to be in the mountains. I knew that I was going to be a character that eventually became a zombie. So I said, okay, is this going to require me like climbing up hills and all that? They were like, yes, but you could do it. But I asked questions, and then there was a scene where I was tied up. And I said, okay, am I going to really be tied? Because I said I had a sack over me. And I was like, is it breathable? So I asked these questions because I'm claustrophobic. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to go on set and like have something over me where I couldn't, I would feel like uncomfortable. So
okay with the mask last year.
Yeah, we had something very similar happen, but it was with a child.
Really? Yeah. So the thing was, and it ended up being fine. Like it was like it's like it was over me, but I was able to see right through it, and that was cool. But I asked questions. Because not only for me, because I don't want to disappoint or waste the director's time or my fellow actor's time before I get on set. That way, I'm ready to work and I'm ready. Because a lot of people forget, it's a job too. It is a job, and that's a very professional way to do things, to ask questions. But the truth of the matter is, if someone comes to set, a lot of times they know what they signed up for too. Right. And they're choosing, because it's a power play. I'm coming to set. Time is money. You're going to do what I want now. I'm going to do what I want to do in your movie. That's a no-no. Absolutely. Like I'm the type of person, I will cannonball the whole day. Mm-hmm. I will postpone it for a week or two. Right. Replace you're not going to come here and tell me, okay.
Or you'll just be cut out of the movie.
Oh yeah, well that's what happened with that woman. We ended up cutting the entire segment of the movie out because it was.
She planned a vacation.
She planned filming. Yeah, she just wanted to have a good time. But enough of that. Enough of that negativity. So, what kind of roles in the future would you want to play in a film? Like, I
will be right back. I'm going to let you guys keep going. Go ahead.
I love horror films. So I've just been trying to, just get everything out there, audition, and just, concentrate on the horror film genre. Concentrate on the horror film genre. But in the recent past, roles that I've, done were roles of assholes. Can we curse on here?
Oh, sure. Why not?
Assholes, like pure assholes. Like I've had roles that are like assholes, like mean, vindictive, nasty. There was a film called Piece of the Action. It's a remake of the Sidney Poitier Bill Cosby film from the 70s. So I was in the remake of it, and my character's name is Barnabas, and I was just I at one point I kidnapped 3 people in it, including a child. And I had put a gun to this kid's head and stuff like that. And like things like that. So like a real asshole. And then I did another independent film called Matters of the Heart. And in there I played somebody that sexually abused a child and beats a child. And then the child grows up and confronts me after and all that. But anyhow, so, and I love those roles because I get to, because I consider myself a friendly person. So I get to be an asshole. You know what I mean?
Playing
And-
a villain it's like amazing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I prefer to play bad guys for sure. I prefer to play douchebags and assholes and stuff like that. Yeah. But yeah. So that's what I played in the past, and you know it's worked because I won. There was the Newark Latino Film Festival, and I won for Best Actor in that for my role in Matters of the Heart. So yeah.
Congratulations.
So I want to do comedy, man, because I'm funny. Like I can
love comedy.
impersonations, and I'm just funny. Like among my friends, I do impersonations of everybody and things like that. So I would like to in the future do a comedy role as well. But I love horror. I'll be satisfied with my whole career doing horror films.
Favorite horror film. Favorite horror film.
You're really gonna do that to me? Can I give you 3 or 5?
Let's keep it to 3. Keep it to 3. We want to know.
Okay. Friday the 13th Part 3.
Okay.
Return of the Living Dead.
Okay.
And Halloween.
All right, Halloween's on that list. Good.
The original.
The original.
Not the new one.
The Return of the Living Dead was the old one you're talking about, right?
I'm so sorry. Not Night of the Living Dead. Return of the Living Dead.
Okay.
It was one from the 80s with the punk rockers and the cat.
Just obscene, like craziness.
Yeah.
That one was a little off the wall. That one.
Yeah. Yeah, those are my 3 favorite. If I had to choose 3 favorites, that's just what came off the top of my head.
I like the ones that screw with your mind more, like Exorcist or things like that, where it's like more of a psychological like mind screw.
But there's something about like Halloween. Well, Halloween I feel like is out of the 3 you mentioned is like the darker of the 3 films. The other 2 are like they're more of a gore fest. They're more of like
comical.
Yeah, they have that that fun. There's a fun vibe to them both. Anything with like Return of the Living Dead type film. But yeah.
Exactly.
So in your mind, is success and failure just a mindset?
You know what? I'm going to say yes, and I'll tell you why. I'm going to say yes, and this is the reason. Because, and I hate saying this out loud, but whatever. Because I keep it real, right? So, despite the Billboard chart, which was my number 1 goal in life, like I said, so you figure you did your number 1 goal in life, right? And you should be satisfied because it was your number 1 goal in life. Number 2 goal in life was to be in a horror film of a somewhat, known thing. Succeeded. Same year, actually. But then I feel like a failure because I don't have a blue check on my Instagram, and that pisses me off. You know what I mean? So it is a state of mind. Because people be like, yo, what the fuck, bro? Like, you're on Billboard, you went to the Grammys, you have a video on MTV. I'm like, but I don't have a blue check on Instagram. I'm a fucking loser and blah, blah, blah. It is a state of mind. It is, and that's why I hate social media. But see what I'm saying? But yeah.
I go back to the earlier statement you said in this conversation where you said, like, if I wasn't into entertainment, I probably wouldn't have a social media.
Yeah.
My brother does music as well, and he recently deleted his Facebook account. He was just sick and tired of like fighting with people and arguing over opinion pieces. And I'm like, dude, but there's a lot of good things as well. There's a lot of good conversations that come out. You delete and block the haters. They do no good on your Facebook other than to just cause strife.
Another thing to keep in mind is the algorithm, like as much as everybody like as out of control as some of it they become.
Mm-hmm.
If you're only looking up stuff that's positive, you're gonna see less of the bullshit.
Right.
It's just that's showing you more of what you want to see.
Right. Oh no, that's not what bothered me. I'm saying the verification, the blue check.
Oh, no, I know.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like that is currently my drama. Like because I'm verified on Spotify. I'm about to be verified on Facebook, but I'm like, talking about success and failure state of mind. Why is a blue check dictating to me? And then I had to remind myself, wait a minute, you did this, you did that. You know what I'm saying? But it's definitely a state of mind.
But there's always something too to work towards. Like, I feel like once an artist gets content, like this is, I've reached everything. They get, they get kind of soft. So it's good that you know
Yeah.
you have something to work towards and like strive towards, because chances are it's going to make you push
You
harder.
stop growing when you die.
Yeah, and I've actually been more. I really actually been more, like not giving a fuck more about my opinions, because I'm never going to mask my opinions or my feelings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of people are afraid to, especially politically, to say something because then they don't want to get whatever. And it exists. It exists.
Oh, I've been guilty of that. Like,
You
I've
will get
censored
banned.
myself a number of times.
You will get banned if you're not in the minority of popular opinion. You know. But I'm glad, because for a while I was just being quiet and just not saying anything. But now, if something somebody asks me a question, I'm gonna say it, and I really couldn't care less. You know what I mean? Because as an artist, I'm gonna express myself whatever the way I want, and that's it.
It is funny though. Like I appreciate artists who are honest like that, and they'll say what they mean, whether it's popular or not. The thing that bothers me the most is how people kind of like are sheep, and they'll go with whatever the trends are to hopefully gain more followers. To gain
Whenever
more followers.
I catch myself doing that, like agreeing with somebody because like I'm like, actually no.
But think about what you're agreeing to. A lot of people don't even know what they're agreeing to. They just want to be like, listen, I want those supporters.
Exactly.
Like, get out of here.
Yeah, the biggest thing. I'm so sorry.
No, it was like, for me personally, a lot of things is like with my channel or my festival or my films. A lot of people close to me are like, why don't you use that as a platform to speak your like agenda? You have a voice. You should let everyone know, because I don't want to ostracize anyone, because honestly, to me, there's good in all people, whether we agree or disagree.
Absolutely.
And the problem with nowadays is people can't have that conversation.
Absolutely.
And people are taking one side or whatever to a situation.
Instead of discussing, they're cutting you off at the knees and watching you bleed.
Yes. There's no such thing as opposing viewpoints anymore, and a lot of the same people that claim that they're liberal or whatever are fighting for rights are bullying people.
They're all in the same group though. Like how different are the two parties at this point? Like
they're not. They're
basically there to keep themselves where they are.
Exactly.
And they have two slightly different management styles with extremist ends.
Yes. Absolutely, with extremist ends, exactly. So, like, that's my whole thing. Like, was it last year or 2019? It was 2019 or 2020, and no, 2019, because it was pre-pandemic. A perfect example was there was something called the Music Modernization Act, and it was to get more revenue for musical artists streaming. Because as I'm sure you guys know, you don't have to be professional singers per se, but streams we get paid so little for. Like, for example,
it's like YouTube paying you pennies on the dollar.
Right. So one of my songs, Te Siento, has 102,000 streams. I got paid less than $200 for that. You know what I'm saying? Prior to the Music Modernization Act. So the Music Modernization Act, it didn't heavily increase, but it's been you can see the increase. You know what I mean? Whereas the song, if I would get 20,000 streams on a song, I might have seen, prior to the Music Modernization Act, I might have seen maybe like $10, and now I'll see maybe double that. You know what I mean? So the point being though is that with the Music Modernization Act, it was something that has been a bill that has been asked to be passed for the past 10 years. When Donald Trump was
minimum wage almost for streaming.
Yeah, exactly. So when Donald Trump was in office, he signed the bill, and there were even emails going out saying, urge President Trump to sign this bill, urge President Trump to sign the Music Modernization Act. So he signs it. And I had posted, because this was a major milestone for musicians and artists making money. And I posted, Music Modernization Act finally passed. Thank you, Donald Trump. If I tell you guys the hate, the bullying, and people were actually posting my stuff saying, don't play his music. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And then, and this is what really bothered me, then I have a huge LGBT fan base, right? And I've always had LGBT themes in a lot of my videos. Okay? even, you know, like it's nothing to me. Like, I don't care what, you know, I had transgender actresses, transgender actors in my music videos when I first started, not even promoting this is trans, not for no reason except that you're a great actor or you're my friend and I love you in this video. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I had so many people wrote, "Oh, well, you don't care about the LGBT community then," or you, and I refused to apologize and actually double down. And like I said, I don't get into these arguments and all that, but that was the only time where I was like, not only am I not apologizing, I'm doubling down, and I put in all caps, "Thank you, President Trump, for doing this." And I said, we're not talking about immigration. We're not talking about this. We're talking about this one bill that all these organizations said, please encourage to sign. And that's what I'm talking about. So then some people that claim to support me for years were now messaging saying, "Oh, don't ever have him perform at Pride. Don't do this." And it's ridiculous. Because like I said, the same people that are fighting for rights and tolerance were being nasty and trying to ban me, a person that has always fought for rights and tolerance. And you know what I mean? So it's ridiculous and it's sheep.
The thing that
I'm talking about one thing. I wasn't talking about any other policies.
Yeah, you know, it's good that you brought that up because I've been saying this for forever, is for people on both sides of the aisle, they need to keep their politicians accountable. So there shouldn't be like, oh, we love Biden, so we're just going to, everything he does is perfect. No, that's how.
He's a 78-year-old bag of bones.
Well, listen, whatever he is, whether you love him, hate him, nothing. And the same thing goes for Trump.
Right.
Keep them accountable. And that's what I've been saying. And it's a big fear for artists nowadays to say that.
Bag of fat.
You know, if you say like anything, you got to keep them accountable because you just can't go with the flow. I don't like him just because you know you want to vote like that. Go ahead and do that.
Change is political candidates being funded by corporate.
A lot of people don't realize that either. It's all a sponsorship thing. It's like, hello, if Cardi B, who I have immense respect for because she's a hustler and a come up and everything, but if you have a person non-political interviewing a presidential candidate, come on. You know what I mean? Like, come on. There's
asking Snooki to interview Trump.
It's a corporate sponsorship. It's all corporate sponsorships at the end of the day.
They get paid by how many times, like on American Idol, how many times they pick up the cup with the Coca-Cola label on it, making sure that it's facing the camera. Each one of those has a price tag.
Right.
Yeah, it's twisted.
Exactly.
So not to dive too deep into politics here and have everyone bashing all three of us. What would you guys, or Lovari, what would you tell inspiring artists to do who are interested in following their dreams of entertainment?
Pray. For me, it's prayer. Always prayer. Prayer, but thanking first for what you have and then asking for what you need, which you can do in the same sentence. It's totally fine. But I always thank first for what I have and then ask for what I need. And like I said, I've always done manifestation, but I didn't know it was manifestation as a child. It was my imagination. So, but it definitely works. So, prayer first and foremost, and manifestation.
That's very good.
Imagination, because I literally would, I would actually, in my head, do full-on scenarios, in my head. You know what I'm saying? So, my imagination, then I'd be there for a half hour thinking about these things, So yeah, prayer and manifestation and imagination.
I find a lot of adults find it hard to have imagination as they grow older. There's sometimes, I'm a kid at heart. I feel like I'm a kid at heart too, and I'm afraid that I'm gonna grow up and get old and boring. But there's times I'm at work and I still I don't want to say daydream, or I still I do fantasize and dream and have imagination of all these awesome things I can do. And I think a lot of people they feel like they get scared of making these things. It's that's going to be a lot of work. So
what I've noticed,
got to take the easy way out.
What I've noticed with myself is I used to have an easier time of believing it was possible, and I used to run forward. If something was really, really challenging, and I was scared of it, I ran towards it right away. Like moving to Germany, I came back a month later. I moved to Denver. Like I've never been to either place before, and those sort of things were some of the best, most fulfilling experiences of my life. Yet over years, all the little setbacks that you have, it's hard not to sometimes pay attention to those, because when you do, you start to be afraid of taking those bold actions that you used to take, or at least for me. It's annoying because it's like, I know it's all up here, but yeah.
I feel like the older you get and the more you want to, like, especially if you want to like have things you want to do and things you want to say, the more time you take off to kind of like have fun and run around, you kind of take yourself away from your projects. So for me, it's always like focusing on what you want to do. It's a lot of work, but at the end, it's a reward. Are you there, Stefan? I see a black screen now.
I'm trying to tell my mom to stop calling.
I want to interject one thing. One thing I will say not to worry about. Don't ever worry about money, because everything I've done. See, and I'm not going to try to bring family into and all that, but the thing with my mom, when I said I want to do this, I want to do it. Oh, you don't have money. How are you going to do this? How are you going to do that? I never worried about money. All the things that I did, I never worried about money. I don't know why. I just didn't. And I
do that because that's my biggest holdback. That's my thing. Is like the moment I think about money, it's like sink ship.
Yeah. I don't know why. I just never, and I'm not rich by any means. But I'm saying I never thought about money, and I make my own money. My family doesn't. They would, believe me, if I needed money, I'm sure my family would loan me money. But I'm saying none of the things that I did, I did not borrow money for any of these things that I've done. You know what I'm saying? I made my own money, but I never thought about money. So living near a lighthouse, living near the beach, I said, well, how can I didn't say, oh, I can't afford it. I was just like, well, how can I do that though if I don't have how much I think it is? But I'm like, whatever. I still would love to live here. You know what I mean? The billboard, it takes thousands of dollars to on a major. I'm not on a major label. I'm an independent artist. Billboard. It takes all this money to promote and all that. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know, but I know I want to be on it. You know what I mean? So like, I never worried about money. It always happens. Everything, the horror films, the billboard, going to the Grammys, getting the video on MTV, getting a apartment near the beach. It always happened with me not thinking about money. And to be real, if I would have thought about money, like you said, because I didn't have what I thought would be the amount it would cost for all of these things. And it somehow worked out either by miracle where I came into the money. Yeah. Like, seriously, I don't want to talk about that because some of that stuff is really personal. And then I don't want to talk about how much people charge for things and things like that. But there are certain things where I was on a game show and I won money. Right. And it happened to be around the time that I needed money for a major project. And it was the exact amount of money that I needed. How about that? Yeah. How about that? I could have won more on the show, but it ended up being the amount of money that was going to cost me what the project was. And again, it just happened. Hey, Lovari, we're doing a thing with Match Game. You want to be on the Celebrity Match Game show as a contestant. And I won. You know what I mean? It's like, and I never worried about the money, the beach, right? The beach house. I didn't know. The person's like, I was like, yeah, but could I afford something here? I don't make that, And they're like, yeah, actually you can. I was like, all right, shoot, I'll look it up. But I never was like, oh, I'm not going to try, man. That costs man money. I can't do it.
It's a really inspiring thing that you're saying, because it is true. Like, I feel like I'm in a way like you. I worry about money, as everyone does, but at the same time, like, if I did worry, I wouldn't have any projects whatsoever, because I never had the amount in my mind that I exactly needed. It was always like, you know what, we got to make this work one way or another and make this doable, or else, we're just going to like fade away.
Right.
So along those lines of manifesting, for you, Billboard was like your main, like that was your achievement award for your life kind of thing to begin with. For me, I know it's, to be published at least once in National Geographic or on one of those similar kind of platforms would be like my ultimate goal. What about you, Charles?
Well, for my goal,
your own personal lifetime achievement kind of thing.
Like Lovari, I believe that I've went where I thought I never thought that I would have any films whatsoever created. I never thought that I would be respected in filmmaking. Did I ever think I was going to do a film festival? No. So the only thing I could say is to do better at the things that I like to do. I'd like to publish more books, of course. You know, I just released my book in December, and
number one on Amazon. Number one on Amazon.
Yeah, it did well, and I can't wait to see the future. Like my dream was to sit down and have my book in libraries and stuff. That's all possible. It's just a lot of work that I still got to do, and I never thought that my first book would be an autobiography. But it just so happens to be that my life in the beginning was stranger than fiction. And I had some crazy people in my life that, even though that some people might come across as enemies in the book or people who have betrayed me, they were a part of my story. And I am forever grateful for them. And in those moments, they've made me stronger one way or another. And I just want to continue having fun and never forget that, because right now I'm at a crossroads in my life. I've been going to a lot of interviews and stuff like that. So once again, I'm at this position. I could take a job being on call again 24/7, or I could work a job where I have the freedom and time to do what I love to do, which is stuff like this and filmmaking and writing. But money is luring. So do I know what I'm going to decide?
Yeah.
I'm always got to keep this in my heart and do stuff. So it's staying happy. And that's the truth.
Yeah. Over the course of the time period from when I got out of college up till now, I've always had a full-time job at the same time as working as a photographer, and then also as a videographer as well. And it's challenging because, like you said, you can either be financially secure and have a job that eats up all of your time so that you don't have the ability to do the things that you want, or the freedom to accomplish the things that you want, or even the energy to do them, because especially with me, having a sleep issue, if I have to go and edit after working an 8-hour shift at a doctor's office where the constant fear of getting exposed to COVID or any other thing, or just crazy ass coworkers, because when you work with a bunch of women in a hospital, they gang up on you.
Easy now, buddy.
You're a stud.
I know, but being the guy is not always the advantage, because you can move stuff and we can yell at you.
I mean, I ain't saying anything there. I don't have an opinion on there. But
that's just my last job, not all of them.
You know what, though? I just think it's a really inspiring conversation, because truly, as artists, all three of us understand that, if this is something you want to do and pursue, it's going to take a lot of time, effort, energy. You just really got to go for it. And you got to stay consistent. I truly feel if you don't stay consistent, the game is over. So I'm going to ask you this one final serious question.
Okay.
What is next for Lovari?
You talking about career, my upcoming projects?
Yeah, what is next?
So, the Moment of Love, the promotion for that, the following week, I'm just gonna culminate and share all of the videos that I did release for Moment of Love. It's been my most successful album. It went to number 2 on the iTunes electronic chart. It went to number 1 for a day on the iTunes Canada pop chart, which was amazing. And it had my first Billboard single, No Day Like Today, which reached the top 25 Billboard dance chart, and number 1 on the Billboard breakout chart, which was whoa. So, that promotion is basically, just after this forthcoming week, that's going to be done. I mean, it's been done, after the 6 months, but, I'm just going to share everything that I was able to pull from that album, so that's set aside. And next is the horror film, The Barn 2, which we filmed actually at the end of 2019. And it was supposed to have a 2020 release for October. That's going to come out at some point this year. And that was my second biggest dream come true. That stars Linnea Quigley and Ari Lehman. I have a supporting role. And I'm really excited about that. And then Zombie Games is another one that's going to be released. And then I go to Los Angeles in April to film Terror Tunes Part 4. And that's another schlocky, horror genre series that I and now will be a part of. part 4.
That's pretty awesome.
So that's for 2021. Like I said, I want to really try to concentrate on auditioning for more film roles this year. So heavily
awesome.
with the acting this year.
So where can our viewers find you? Like once this is posted up, where can they find your stuff and website, whatever?
Sure. My social media on Instagram is Lovari with the _. So it's LOVARI _. Facebook is Lovari Official. And Twitter is Lovari. And you know what's so cool about Twitter? Britney Spears and Lady Gaga follow me on Twitter. Isn't that cool?
Whoa.
Wow.
Like the real, speaking of blue checks, the real, that's really dope.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then for the music, it's on your platforms, Spotify, iTunes, etc.
Check it out, people. This has been an interesting conversation. We'd love to have you back in the future.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you. I'm honored.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for watching. This is going to be on YouTube later today, but awesome.
Thank you. I wish you both continued success. And
thank you.
And I'm honored to be on here, Charles and Stefan. Thank you both so much. I can't wait to see you guys in person. And yeah, thank you.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye. Peace.
Peace.